Ladies and gentlemen, please silence all your cell phones and electronic devices. The ceremony will begin in approximately 5 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's ceremony. Will the guest present please rise for the arrival of the official party and remain standing for the playing of the national anthem, followed by the invocation by retired Senior Chief Nikki Wright. Military personnel in attendance, but not in the official party, should remain uncovered. Commander, United States Navy, arriving. Chief Warrant Officer, United States Navy, arriving.
Would you please bow your heads, open your hearts, and let's talk to God together. Heavenly Father, what a privilege it is for us to gather here today in your presence, in Zoom, a new thing for us all, to celebrate the long and storied career of our sister, our friend, and our very dear loved one. How many lives has she impacted over the years? What a leader she's been. What a blessing in all our hearts. We ask that you quiet our hearts now in all this busyness, tumult, craziness of life. Really settle in and just honor and love on our sister today. You don't get a chance like this to hear about all the great stories, the wonderful friendships, the mentorship that she has done over the years, the impact she's made on lives, forging connections of brotherhood and friendship all along the way. So please, though the weight of life is burdensome and the pandemic may have us strained, our hope is in you. We cry out for you. We ask now for genuine connection, peace, and love in this moment. Help us be like Misty. Just bless her heart right now. This is the best time to just be together. Just have some real talk. Just love on this young lady. I know it's all pomp and circumstance right now, but we're here as friends, loved ones, shipmates all over the world. Thank you all for being here. Thank you, Father, for loving her through this, bringing the people into her life that you've brought into her life. For that young man that's recently made such a sweet impact on our hearts, to watch him complete her, a certain young Rob. How sweet that's been. And thank you for letting us be here as part of her journey. We love her. We honor her. And please bless this time together. In God's holy name, amen.
Thank you. Please be seated. Good morning. I was going to start off with welcoming everybody, but I have to say first, what would it be, a military ceremony without some sort of audio difficulty? So we've checked that off our list. Let's get rolling now. I would like to welcome you to this special occasion marking the retirement of Chief Warrant Officer Misty Rambo. This ceremony represents the culmination of a distinguished career in the service of our nation and the United States Navy. We gather to witness the final stage in a very full and productive 22-year military career. We would like to thank our distinguished guests, family, and friends for joining us today via Zoom. For those present, thank you for joining us and for adhering to social distancing and COVID precautions throughout the ceremony. This isn't a typical retirement ceremony with regards to the current pandemic. So, more so than normal, the people in attendance and the people who are watching are the people that Chief Warrant Officer Rambo, Misty, has touched. The people she worked with, loved, and guided. I've known Misty for many years, more probably than she wants me to comment on right now. I'm sure we all have memories of her counsel, her advice, her guidance, her jokes, and her friendship. I wish to briefly share just one of these many things. Many, 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 many years ago, she and I were stationed in the UK together, that's where we first met. I was her LPO. For any civilians or members of other services watching, this basically just means I was her first line supervisor. We were both first classes, but I was senior her probably by like 2 weeks. So the job was mine. This was my very first experience in a true supervisory role. And as many young and arrogant males first put in charge of others, I was prone to making mistakes of one kind or another. On occasion, Misty would walk up to me and tap my shoulder, tap my elbow, and whisper in my ear, "Can I speak to my friend Randy and not my boss for a moment?" I came to learn that whenever I heard those words from her, I was about ready to be taken to school. This is the type of leader that Misty is, the type of friend, mentor, and everything else that she is. She doesn't have to be the person wearing the title to still lead and still guide us and still get the group where we need to be. I told you I was just going to do one story, so that's it. Our presiding officer had the distinction of serving as Chief Warrant Officer Rambo's officer in charge of the Navy Information Operations Detachment Australia, and is now currently serves as the Navy Information Operation Command Georgia's operations officer. Ladies and gentlemen, Commander Bay.
Good morning, distinguished guests, families, and friends. Misty Lynn Rambo. Man, what a name. What an awesome name for a superhero. Soon after Misty reported to Alice Springs, Australia as my assistant OIC in 2019, so he shared one story beginning of her tour. I'm sharing the one that's during her last tour as well. So we took a work trip to Hawaii about just soon after she reported. And one day we decided to go on a hike to a trail called Olumana Trail. That's also known as Three Peaks. And we didn't have much time, so we decided to just tackle the first peak. And for those of you who's not familiar with this trail, it's not an easy hike, although I might have told her that it was. So it takes about an average hiker about 2 hours to get to the top of the first peak, which that's what we're gonna do. But only after about 40 degrees nonstop uphill during the last quarter of the hike, also sprinkled with a handful of a vertical rock climbing that requires a rope, which is usually just kind of left there for the trail. And then it culminates with an approximately about 30-foot vertical climb with the rope also dangling from the top. And it's not a rock climbing. You can kind of hold the rope and then kind of take your step and go up, but you really have to just pull yourself up there. So now, 1 hour into the hike, I look back and see Misty struggling already. And I'm thinking, uh-oh. And about 2 more hours later and few bruises, we finally got to the bottom of the vertical climb. And I'm thinking ORM, that's operational risk management, and also thinking possible sit-rep situation, which would need to issue if someone were to get hurt. And I was pretty certain that this poor Warren is not going to make it. So I gently told her, hey, you already made far enough. And just wait for me down here until I just go up there and check out the view, and I'll be right back. And once I got to the top, it started raining heavily as well, if you remember. So I took my pictures, and I was getting ready to go back down to join Mystique on our descent. Looking for the rope that I used to come up there, and then I just found the rope being very taut, and then I saw Misty climbing up that rope, taking a few more last steps, and finished, and then got up to the top. That's when I knew we'll work together just fine. During Misty's last tour, I was privileged to witness a culmination of a seasoned leader. A leader who loves to have fun, at times even with a childlike innocence. Yet one who displays toughness and resilience that can only come from the one who stood the test of failure, being hurt, and even being betrayed. A leader with humble and gentle heart, always putting others' needs before hers. Yet one who won't hesitate for a second to speak the truth and hold one accountable when needed. A leader that overcomes personal challenges and daily renews her commitment to the mission. Comic book superheroes got nothing on Misty Rambo. Misty, I can tell you what an honor it is for me to be here to preside over your retirement ceremony. I know the Navy has been truly your family for the past 22 years. And it means a great deal for me to be a part of closing that chapter of your life. So thank you. Rob, I know you're working hard back there with Zoom and all the support. Congratulations on your upcoming wedding. And in a way, you're carrying on the torch from her Navy family of 22 years onto building a new family of your own. So I pray for God's special blessing upon your upcoming marriage. It's been a genuine privilege to serve with Misty during her tenure. And I want to say I'm retiring Misty, both on behalf of the Armed Forces of the United States and also on behalf of her family and those who call her friend. God bless you. Thank you for the privilege of serving with you, Misty. Fair winds and following seas, shipmate. Thank you very much.
Please stand for the presentation of Chief Warrant Officer Rambo's retirement declaration. Chief Warrant Officer Rambo, post. Attention to award. The Defense Meritorious Service Medal is awarded Chief Warrant Officer 3, Misty L. Rambo, United States Navy, distinguished herself by exceptionally meritorious service as Mission Director, Operations Division, National Security Agency, Central Security Service from March 2019 to March 2021. During this period, Warrant Officer Rambo led 250 joint service and civilian personnel, providing accurate, timely, and actionable intelligence to the American and allied partners. Specifically, she managed a multi-billion-dollar remote collection site, dynamically tasking and executing high-priority national missions supporting global military deployments, counterproliferation, and international security as mission director. Additionally, Warrant Officer Rambo oversaw the maintenance of 325 system anomalies and directed resources allocation across 3 sites, enabling critical identification of 100 threats to the United States and its allies. Furthermore, her proactive engagement streamlined collaboration and information sharing with partners across 18 multinational organizations, satisfying national and theater level intelligence gaps on key adversaries. Finally, Warrant Officer Rambo's leadership as Assistant Officer in Charge for Navy Information Operations Detachment Australia, providing mentorship and support to 30 sailors, culminating in over 30 operational qualifications, 7 promotions, 10 reenlistments, and 15 joint awards for her Navy detachment personnel. The distinctive accomplishments of Chief Warrant Officer 3, Misty Rambo, culminated a distinguished career in the service of her country and reflect great credit upon herself and the United States Navy and the Department of Defense. Signed, Paul M. Nakasone, General, U.S. Army, Director, National Security Agency. Commander Bay will now, Commander Bay will now present their certificate of retirement.
Post the order.
Attention to orders. Certificate of retirement from the Armed Forces of the United States of America. To all who shall see these presents greetings. This is to certify that Chief Warrant Officer 3, Misty L. Rambo, has served faithfully and honorably, is retired from the United States Navy on the first day of March 2021. Signed, John B. Nowell, Vice Admiral, United States Navy, Chief of Naval Personnel. Good. Thank you, and please take your seats. Today, less than 0.5% of the citizens of the United States volunteer to serve our nation in its armed forces. Less than 20% of that population complete a full career earning a military retirement. Over a 20-plus year career, service members serve under multiple commanders-in-chiefs. These former commanders-in-chief recognize the sacrifices of the service members and are honored to send personal letters of to commemorate their service. Warrant Officer Rambo will receive certificates from all of the commanders-in-chief she has served under. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to introduce today's guest speaker for the ceremony, retired Senior Chief Sean Vick.
Commander Bay, Chief Warrant Officer Misty Rambo, friends and families and shipmates all around out there in the Netherlands and all that kind of stuff, welcome. We are here to send one of our shipmates home, not for good, just for the day in the Navy, but we're gonna see if we can do it right. It's already started off good. So approximately a year and some change, Warrant Officer Rambo was my guest speaker at my retirement. She kept it short so that I could take up the rest of the time. I'm gonna keep mine long so you don't have to speak that long. Fair? No. My wife made me promise that I wouldn't take too much time, but I have to say a few things. And as I was listening, I was writing down some things. So a little over a year ago, Misty gave me the heads up that most likely I would be her guest speaker. So that's a long time to prepare. So last night, as I was trying to write your speech, you know, reason because, you know, I kept thinking, I was like, what am I going to say? There's a lot of things I want to say. There's a lot of things I could say. So I was waiting for the inspiration to come, and it came, and then I was like, no, I don't want to say that. It came, and no, I don't want to say that. And then it finally came to me. So what I did was I wrote down some words that I thought described you. Fearless. And I wrote down the definition according to Webster's dictionary. Being fearless is more about who you are rather than what you do. Fearless people are great. They are full of life, good energy, passion, and self-belief. They are bold trendsetters who go against the grain and do something different and better because of strong purpose and mission. I can think of no word that better suits Chief Warrant Officer Misty Rambo. Caring, displaying kindness and concern for others, always. Well-mannered, having or showing good manners when possible. Energetic. Oh my God, does anybody know Misty Rambo? I don't need to go on. All right. A go-getter and person who's aggressively enterprising. Yes. Adaptable, able to adjust to new conditions or people who may come and go. Intelligent, having or showing intelligence, especially of high level. I've always thought that of you. Adventurous, kind of goes hand in hand with her energy level and her being a go-getter. Willing to take risks or to try out new methods, ideas, or experiences. An adventurous traveler. So I was listening to Commander Bay. Sir, you made one mistake, and that was you never tell Misty Rambo what she can't or should not do. That's just not going to work out. All right. She would fall up the mountain and down the mountain before she would give up. I've seen her do it. All right. So, and trustworthy, able to be relied on as honest and truthful. I've known Misty for a long time, and I'm going to go through that really quickly. I've never known her not to be honest or truthful. And humble. And I'm going to say this again before I end. So I wrote it down as it goes. Most researchers suggest that humble people have an accurate view of themselves, acknowledge their mistakes and limitations, are open to other viewpoints and ideas, keep their accomplishments and abilities in perspective, have a low self-focus, and appreciate the value of all things, including other people. That is Misty Rambo. And then I threw down professional and dedicated because I've known nobody more professional than you. All right. So here we go. This is really my story. So I'm going to open up your bio here because it actually helps me with the dates. Let me find it. So a long time ago, while me and my wife, currently Angel sitting over there, were just starting to date, we lived in a little place called Vernon, Texas. So if you notice in Misty's bio, she's from Altus, Oklahoma, which is a stone's throw away from Vernon, Texas. So kind of in a way, it may have been fated that me and Misty Rambo were going to find our way into each other's lives. And that was somewhere in 98, 99, just before she joined the Navy. So she joins the Navy and off she goes. If you read my bio, you don't have to. I was in the Army. I had gotten out of the Army when I lived in Vernon, Texas. Somehow, for some reason, I decided to join the Navy several years later. And once again, well, for the first official time, would run into Misty Rambo. And I use the word inspired. I have never met anybody that has inspired me so much, not even to this day. It's hard to explain what I was feeling when I saw her, because she wasn't even speaking to me. We didn't officially meet each other. She came out and talked about a program called Boss. She gave a brief. Little did she know, 20 some, almost 15, maybe 20 years earlier, way back in my Army times, I helped create that program. So it was kind of weird that this young lady that I just was immediately inspired and impressed by was speaking about a program that I knew 100%. So that was the start. We never met again. I went off into my own little hole in the wall at the agency. She went into her own little hole in the wall, and then she transferred. I arrived at Fort Gordon, where, if you look at her bio, she was there too. Again, we work in the same area, and I watch her give a brief, this time on stuff that we do. And again, I was just so impressed and blown away by this young lady that I said, that's who I'm going to chase. So like Chief over here, except for it was the opposite way, she was a couple of weeks ahead of me. So I deemed her the person that I was always going to chase. I was going to focus on her. As long as she was going in the right direction, which I knew she would, I was trying to catch you always. All right. So before Gordon goes by, every time the list comes out for promotions and stuff, I'm looking for her name. Her name's on the list. Next cycle, I'm on the list. All's right in the world. She goes off, I think to Digby or is it MESEP, one of the two. She goes off, and I go into recruiting, and I'm telling you, I am recruiting based off of Misty Rambo. She helped me through recruiting because for some reason, I just couldn't get her out of my mind. And we really had never had a conversation yet. I might as well just say thank you already. Thank you. So finally, I'm on my way to Japan. I have orders to go to Japan in a ship called the USS Essex, LHD-2. And in our world, we can look ahead and see who's already on that ship. So that's what I did. You know, by this time, I'm a little worried because nobody's talking about Misty Rambo anymore. I don't know where she's fallen off to the earth. And I'm like, what is going on? And lo and behold, Misty Rambo is on that ship. All's right in the world, except for one thing. I've made chief and she has not. So when I get there, me and my wife decide to go to the Christmas party. The ship has just pulled in. Misty's at the party. I'm not even sure if I said hello. All I said was, we're going to get you promoted because we got to get everything right in the world again. Now, I don't really think I got her promoted. She got herself promoted, but she got promoted and I made senior chief. And in her infamous way, she found a way to get me to move out of the way, which was one of the easiest things I've ever done, was to allow her to go and be great. All right. She ran the division. Heck, I think I even got an award for doing absolutely nothing but getting out of the way and letting her do great things. I can tell you 100%, we led a great team over there, and it was all due because of Misty Rambo. She is great at what she does. She cares about people. She cares about the mission. I couldn't have asked for anybody better to work with. Nobody that would understand exactly what I wanted or needed to do than Misty Rambo. And I wouldn't say she's ever taken me to the woodshed, but she had a way of tapping you on the shoulder and say, can we talk? And I'm like, okay. And then she would always agree with me and do it the way she wanted to do it, which was okay because it was always great. You're really good at what you do, 100% all the way around. So then I had the pleasure, like I said, to watch Misty get pinned as a chief. I mean, all's right in the world. Could it get any better? Yes, because we decided Misty Rambo should be a warrant officer because she needed to keep going. All right. And I couldn't have been prouder. And I will tell you, just between us, there were some people who didn't really think your name was going to be on that list. They weren't in our career field. And I told them, I said, I don't care who's on that list. Misty Rambo is going to get promoted to warrant officer. You can, if you want to bet some money, bet your money on that. And sure enough, there it was. She was on there. So she's leaving. I've already taken orders to another command in Japan. And I don't know what is going on. I stayed on the ship for 6 more months, and somehow Misty Rambo comes down on the one set of orders outside of the ships in Japan that she's going to come to, and it's DSRJ, which is kind of crazy. So we're together again, all right? And then we ran some more sailors and airmen and some soldiers and had a good time and worked with some really good civilians. I mean, I cannot stress enough you being a part of my life, and I'm pretty sure many, many other sailors out there. I know I've talked to them. I'm looking through your program here, and there's a couple young ladies that I remember distinctly on there. Malcolm, Malcolm's Warrant Officer Rambo single-handedly pushed that young lady, and she's wearing, what is she, a lieutenant now? Lieutenant commander probably by now. That's because of Misty Rambo. That's the type of person she is. She did that. I had a very small hand to play in that. I've seen her in her ups, her lows, her crazies. I see a cigarette in her mouth over there, arm wrestling a guy. Yes. I've seen her in those days, good times. I've seen her at some low times, she's always managed to come through them on top. Everybody has hard times. She never let it get her in the way of taking care of everybody else. I can't say enough what you have done for me and my family. My daughter over there looks at you as a older sister / godmother. My wife truly thinks of you as a sister and a friend. And in Yokota, we, I think, cemented that bonds will never be broken between us. So I have a few more words. Of course, she's in the Navy, so shipmate goes along. In your program, it just happens to be in there. Shipmate is an honorable word that is earned, not given. Being called a shipmate is the highest compliment one can earn in his or her life. Shipmate is a word equal to none in the English language. It is filled with courage, love, hate, duty, honor, and country. It is a bond forged in storms, adversity, and victory, and is equaled only by man's love for his wife and family. I count you along with them, all right? Not different. It is formed at sea in a ship with a captain of character who causes can-do spirit to executive officer, to junior officers, chiefs, petty officers, and crew. You joined us in a time when I needed you. I saw you in a time when you needed us. We will ever be together. I always loved that you made chief. I wish it had been before me, but nothing could have made me more happier than to help you through your transition. Kyla has something for you that she's going to give to you. So in it, this was the easiest gift ever to figure out. Once a chief, always a chief. So we got you an anchor that you can wear around your neck to always remember where you came from, all right? And I have just a few more words outside of shipmate, and they were friends, easily explained. We're always going to be friends. We have a bond that's never going to be broken. I am happy that you finally met somebody that's going to make you happy. Rob, are you a movie guy? There's a movie called Taken with Liam Neeson, and he says, I have a certain set of skills. I'm going to leave it there. All right, I'm going to leave it there. If you reach over right at the foot of my chair there's another gift from me. So when I made senior chief, if you remember, I took off one of my anchors and I gave it to you, you and I-Team 1. I never got a chance to give you this anchor So I gave the other half to Pat Sherlock, who is going to carry forward. He was one of ours, if you remember. I know you do. Hopefully he makes senior chief, but that is the other one. Whether or not you believe you got me there, you did, because I was always chasing you. I will forever love you, and thank you.
Need a moment. So I'm sitting there listening to that, and it kind of occurs to me, between the three people she's asked to be on the stage, I think we've covered your entire naval career with exception of the PCU. Yeah. It's kind of cool. And by the way, Gator Navy. So it's that time of the ceremony where I get to say this part. Ladies and gentlemen, may I present Chief Warrant Officer 3, Misty Rambo.
Ooh. And I'm short. Yes, vertically challenged. Thank you, Nina. Please bear with me as I bring up my notes. Okay. Good morning. Thank you, Commander Bay. Thank you, Sean, Angel, Kyla. Thank you so much, Randy. Thank y'all for coming up from Georgia. And thank you for putting this on starting while I was overseas and working through everything with me. Thank you all for joining us here today. It truly means the world to me that you've taken out the time to be here. When I began planning the ceremony approximately 18 months ago, the setting in my mind was completely different. We were going to have a joint color guard. The seats were going to be filled with shipmates and friends from around the world. We'd all join up afterwards at the VFW, have some cold ones, reminisce about days gone by, and then spend a wonderful 3-day weekend exploring DC. Then I was going to ride off into the sunset, hopefully in an RV, West Coast bound, stopping at every state and national park along the way, like my cousin Jess is doing. She's amazing. But I was on my way to San Francisco State University to start college in the fall. That was circa September 2019. There was no global pandemic going on. There was political angst, but nothing like we're seeing overtly right now. And there was no Rob in my life. But there's a saying in the Navy, or in the military in general, sorry, semper gumby, always flexible. Things change, and we must be able to adapt in order to overcome any obstacle, come what may. Our resilience is a fundamental strength. So thank you to everybody who's been involved with today's planning and execution and everything that's led up to now. It wasn't always easy, but we're here. And I wholeheartedly thank each and every one of you present and also connected with us through Zoom. You're a part of my journey, and I'm blessed. The past few weeks, I've been waking up in the middle of the night, probably anxious about what the future holds. During those sleepless nights, my mind would wander, but always circle back to this speech, trying to decide what I wanted to convey as an epiphany at the end of my 22-year career in the Navy. After those restless nights, I'd usually wake up to some strange notes, a team of run-on sentences, half confessions from a port call, memory gone awry, or Rome. Randy was there. And other odd bits of fleet shenanigans that should never see the light of day. However, the parts that did make sense, those that resonated with my soul, could be grouped into lessons learned, coupled with a few do's and don'ts. So in no particular order, what I found to be true after all this time. When I joined the Navy, I intended to do 4 years. Then I was going to get out and go to college. But come to find out, after about a 2-year adjustment period, attitude adjustment, the Navy is actually pretty easy. You basically just show up in the right uniform at the right time, and you do what your LPO tells you. or you let them think you do. No. If you do a little extra, collaterals, volunteer, better PT scores, or take advantage of the opportunities available to everyone, yet some rarely utilize, CLEPs, certs, maps. If you do those small bits and you start to stand out in a positive light. Because if you're waiting for them to invite you to the chief's mess or the wardroom, sorry, you're not going to get there on your own. And they're not going to just open the door. So you'll never get there alone. And remember that you're responsible for your actions as well as your inactions. Therefore, it's vital to make the most of the days that we're given, remembering those days are short and numbered. So if you want something, ask for it. I'm a firm believer in make them tell you no, and I'm a staunch opponent to that's the way it's always been. Be courageous and be daring, because if you're going to fail, fail forward. Learn from your mistakes and carry on smartly, or at least smarter. Thank you, Senior. Don't be scared of failure, because then you'll fail to lead. Inaction equates to stagnation. If you're stagnant, you're DIW, dead in water, and then you're an easy target. So basically, see what needs to be done, formulate a plan, or better yet, formulate a plan with a solid team, and do what's needed. Hot wash, or what we would call review. Learn from your errors, but then don't rest on your heels. Go find the next thing that needs to be done. Also, what I've learned, don't piss off the Secret Service, and definitely don't do it twice in the same year. That wasn't recently, we're talking about like 2000s, and I was a seaman. Do challenge yourself daily, keep growing, continue to become the person you want to be, not who others try to tell you you are. Don't piss off the Border Patrol, even if it's on the Monty side. Circa 2008. It was a misunderstanding. I did not get arrested. But do explore your hometown, even if it's a short trip. I recommend change your scenery from time to time to remind yourself that there's a whole world out there post-COVID, please. Sorry for this one, but don't hold the balloon during a ping pong show in Thailand. Shout out to my 7th Fleet sailors. Do embrace the cultural differences abroad and even here at home. Do take care of yourself, but don't forget to also take care of each other. Life's heaviest are manageable when we share, whether they be physical, emotional, or mental. Walking across the stage today, I'm reminded of my mother, who we have a small bouquet of lilac here for her to represent. She would beg me to write to the local paper anytime that there was an advancement or promotion award or new development. She always wanted me to start off with, as an alumni of Altus High School, class of 99, Misty Rambo, yada, yada, yada. Apparently in the early part of my career, folks back home did not think that I graduated high school because they did not see me walk across the stage. I just happened to have graduated early in December and left for boot camp before prom, before graduation, before I'd even turned 18. Mom signed me up after I'd asked her to. She wasn't like, get out of the house, but I'm immensely grateful she did. So my lesson learned there is it's okay to do things on your own timeline, as long as you get done what's most important to you. Because of the Navy, I've been a part of some amazing teams, missions, and genuine awesomeness, none of which is cleared for this room or this audience. But what I have learned as a cryptologic analyst that can be shared is always consider the source. Not all information is knowledge, and not all knowledge is wisdom. Choose your sources wisely. Because of the Navy, I have visited every continent with the exception of Antarctica. I've taken an iodine pill while completing humanitarian assistance during Operation Tamagotchi after the tsunami in Japan in 2011. I lost my voice calling for King Neptune over the side of a ship somewhere along the equator. I'll always remember the sound of the loudspeaker voice in Iraq alerting us to incoming, incoming, incoming. And I'll always remember the night I ran out of the bunker with my PT pants on backwards. Because that night, the genuine laughter of my battle buddies and I that we shared was louder than the IDFs whizzing by on any other night. That's how I know we remain the greatest nation Our bodies may age, our memories may falter, but our spirits will never die. They grow stronger as we become more resilient. Okay, I've listened to Rambo jokes for like years, so this is my bad joke. We're gonna need a bigger box. Sorry. Because of the Navy, I've learned actually it should probably be more accurate to say when naysayers tell you that you're not capable, that you're not worthy, that you're too this or you're not enough of that, they're stating their own limitations and expectations. You're not bound by them unless you let yourself be. When I made chief, I recall being told that I made it because I was a female. Then I was told I didn't act like a chief. I attempted to be more chief-like, but it only made my sailors and I miserable for a short time because they did not trust me because I was not being genuine. I had to remember that I was selected because of who I was, what I'd done, and for who I'd become. And who I'd become was because of each and every one of my mentors along the way. Thank you, every one of y'all. Realizing that made being a warrant much easier. We're allegedly unicorns, so nobody really knows exactly how we're supposed to be 100% of the time. So when the wolves come creeping towards you, whether they be naysayers, frenemies, or even your own dark thoughts, remember, to thy own self be true. You are the author of your own story. You determine its purpose. You select the cast and you assign the roles: friend, acquaintance, mentor, family, or shipmate. Lesson learned. Take the time to earnestly find your tribe, whether it be a bunch of ladies with the Sakura pageant that I never expected to do. See you. Love y'all. Or if you're lucky enough, you may have an amazing friend who will walk across Okinawa with you, dodging renegade chickens. Shout out to Jean. It was a vicious chicken. There's a video somewhere. Normally, the end of a retiree speech is reserved for thanking and gift giving one's family. While discussing this with Rob, I wanted to thank him for everything he's done the past year. You would literally give me the shirt off your back, and about 10 minutes before this started, you did. So thank you. But also acknowledge, I want to take an opportunity to acknowledge those that have been there throughout my career. With that, I'd like to light a candle. Ooh. Ooh. For those who have had a resounding effect on my career. The first candle is for my mother, Frankie Inkelbarger Rambo of Oklahoma. Without her encouragement, support, and inherited stubbornness, I doubt I would have made it through my first enlistment, nevertheless through today. OMT, Mama. Also, thank you to our Oklahoma family, Liz, Abby, Jesse, Braxton, baby AJ, John, Mary, and Shelby, numerous aunts, uncles, cousins, and neighbors who are my shipmates ashore. Y'all have given my life light when I only saw darkness. The second candle is for my father, Dr. Dennis Rambo of New York. I always looked up to my father in his military Air Force. I was in the strong image he portrayed. And to our family in New York, Aunt Joe, Jess, Liam, and Skylar. To Wayne and Patty, Ronnie and Sue, and all of our cousins. Y'all are a phenomenal group, and I look forward to seeing you more often now that I'm on the right coast. Third, Wayne and Ruth Morey. Ruth, you're like a second mother to me. Talking about fate, she actually was at the airport unbeknownst to me the day that I left for boot camp. She was there long before, and I know she's going to be there after, but I'm so indebted to her and Wayne. Ruth, you're a godsend, and I love you both. To the Butler family, David, Peggy, and Tina. Thank you for opening your home to me so many years ago. David and Peggy, seeing you serve in the Air Force, the upstanding character you both exuded, I wanted to be just like you. You were both always such positive role models, and you welcomed a kid from the wrong side of the tracks, so thank you. To the Gilstrap family, Mike, Julie, and Patrick, thank you for being there through thick and thin. You looked out for our family, especially my mother and myself, even when you didn't have to. I'm grateful for your generosity, your friendship, and your love. To the Vic family, Sean, Angel, Nico, and Kyla. Sean, I've cherished your mentorship and guidance for over the decades. I turned to you in my bleakest moments because I knew you had my back. Thank you. Angel, I am blessed by your friendship and amazed by your strength. And Kyla, your passion and spirit, I am captivated to see what you do as a young lady. Your potential is limitless. You're gonna do amazing things, and I can't wait to see it, hon. To the friends, family, and shipmates near and far, from Carrie, my bunkmate in boot camp, Division 926, represent, to Diana, my first quad mate at Fort Meade, from my Texan sisters, Lisa in England and Crystal, currently underway in the Atlantic, to my brothers and sisters in the mess, from my first OIC after commissioning, Chris Bowen, to the phenomenal Michael Mansour plank owners, from the NNF squad, Kiki, Kat, and Krista, to the cool, I always mess this up, cool quad squad, Wendy, Aaron, and Kanenica, along with Alicia, Emily, and Tanya. Thank you so much. And thank you to the Russman family. Thank you for welcoming me into your home. And Rob, thank you for welcoming me into your heart. I love you, Magma Mucho. He made me cry. I've placed the candles here behind me on the awards table because y'all are truly the best gift of all. Y'all, your love and support have meant everything. You're always had my back, and I humbly thank you. The last candle, but definitely not least, is for our fallen shipmates who lay in the Arlington tombs behind us and across the land. May their sacrifice never be in vain, and may they find peace. Rest in peace, Sonny. Ooh. Please forgive me if I did not call you out individually. I'm grateful for all of the memories, the tears, the laughs until there were tears, the mid-watch philosophy talks, the ridiculous debates over hell. I don't remember what they were about. The mind-numbingly long watches that we could not wait to be over. Well, those watches are over for me now, and looking back, they went by far too fast. So as a quick look back, please join me in a trip down memory lane where we had a little fun and we kicked a little ass. Gentlemen, can you join me down there? We're gonna lower the screen and the lights.
I walked through a county courthouse square.
And Holt. That's NIST. So in closing, the Navy is nothing like what I expected when I first joined. It is so much more. But I did learn what an honor it is to serve the world's best military with the most phenomenal people. It takes courage to be yourself and accept who you are, but even more to admit when you're wrong. And it takes the most courage to accept others who you may not necessarily agree with, but respect nonetheless. And it's commitment to each other and to our nation's freedom and democracy that fuels our fighting spirit, while remembering those who have gone before and while preparing the next generation to take the helm. So again, I thank you for your support, your time, and your trust. Good luck to you all, and God bless.
Gotta move this now. It's too low. Historically, when a sailor would join a ship's crew, he would join that ship for his entire career. During the sailor's voyages to ports of call around the world, he would collect many trinkets, souvenirs, and reminders of his travels. Naturally, as space aboard a ship, it was at a premium. These items tended to be small. When a sailor piped ashore for the last time, his shipmates saw to it that there was a special ceremonial box was constructed for him. The box would hold all the possessions that had been collected over, excuse me, the box would hold all the possessions that had been collected during those many voyages. It would simultaneously symbolize the sailor's career and that time aboard ship. Ideally, a shadow box served not only as a reminder of achievements and accomplishments, but also as a culmination of a career. A shadow box enables a stranger glancing at its contents to gain substantial understanding of the owner's past service and achievements. Warrant Officer Rambo's shadow box was handmade by Command Master Chief Lauren Rucker, 1st Marine Logistics Group at Camp Pendleton, California. Command Master Chief Rucker was a vital mentor to Petty Officer 2nd Class Rambo during her second command in Nyack, Georgia in the early 2000s. Unfortunately, her box is still in transit, so at this time, we will present her with a coin to be placed within the shadow box in her I Love Me room, not book, not wall, room, in hopes that when she looks upon it, she will have fond memories. She hasn't left yet. Special permission was granted to fly the United States flag over the Joint Defense Facility, Pine Gap, in Australia on Friday, November 13th, Friday the 13th, 2020, to mark Warrant Officer Rambo's last day serving amongst her American and Allied brethren. Normally, during this portion of the ceremony, a team would be divided into segments representing each of the retirees' ranks held during their career. The American flag would then be passed amongst them as Old Glory was read aloud. However, due to COVID precautions, this touching ceremony could not sensibly be performed. Therefore, please accept this presentation of Johnny Cash's Old Ragged Flag in place of a more traditional rendering.
I walked through a county courthouse square. On a park bench, an old man was sitting there. I said, your old courthouse is kind of run down. He said, no, it'll do for our little town. I said, your old flagpole is leaned a little bit, and that's a ragged old flag you got hanging on it. He said, have a seat, and I sat down. Is this the first time you've been to our little town? I said, I think it is. He said, I don't like to brag, but we're kind of proud of that ragged old flag. You see, we got a little hole in that flag there when Washington took it across the Delaware. And it got powder burned the night that Francis Scott Key said, watching it write and say, can you see? And it got a bad rip in New Orleans with Pakenham and Jackson tugging at its seams. And it almost fell at the Alamo beside the Texas flag, but she waved on though. She got cut with a sword at Chancellorsville, and she got cut again at Shiloh Hill. There was Robert E. Lee, Beauregard, and Bragg, and the south wind blew hard on that ragged old flag. On Flanders Field in World War I, she got a big hole from a Bertha gun. She turned blood red in World War II. She hung limp and low a time or two. She was in Korea, Vietnam. She went where she was sent by her Uncle Sam. She waved from our ships upon the briny foam, and now they've about quit waving back here at home. In her own good land here, she's been abused. She's been burned, dishonored, denied, and refused. And the government for which she stands is scandalized throughout the land. And she's getting threadbare and she's wearing thin, but she's in good shape for the shape she's in. Because she's been through the fire before. And I believe she can take a whole lot more. So we raise her up every morning. We take her down every night. We don't let her touch the ground, and we fold her up right. On second thought, I do like to brag, 'cause I'm mighty proud of that ragged old flag.
Hey, Misty, I just want you to know that it's been a tremendous honor to have served with you and to be a part of your retirement ceremony. And I really want to thank you for reaching out to me and asking me to be a part of this. It's been an honor. Congratulations on your retirement. Love you, kid.
Sorry, Ned couldn't be with us. He's actually filmed that from Nyack, Colorado area. He's currently retired and stationed in Colorado Springs, so we thank him.
Come back up. This order has been passed on naval ships from the 1500s throughout today. Spanish, French, English, Dutch. Yes, every navy in the world has used the bosun's call and sideboys to bring aboard and send ashore officers, visiting officers, and all visiting dignitaries. Sideboys would haul upon the ropes and raise and lower the boarding platform so officers would not have to climb the rat lines which were hanging over the sides for the enlisted crew. When going ashore or aboard, this honor was extended to visiting officers, dignitaries, and port officials. It was not uncommon for the commanding officer of a ship to order up the jolly boat, a crew of 8 strongbacks, sideboys, and a bosun to send the old shipmate and fellow officer to his ashore retirement home. never to sail on naval ships again. All hands on deck was passed, and speeches were made about great victories, battles fought upon the open ocean, raging storms weathered, and voyages to distant and strange lands with ports of call others have only dreamt about. Then a fine sword, a brace of pistols, a rifle or a musket, or maybe a sea chest of fine wood bound in brass were presented to remind him of crews and ships for which he had served. The boatswain would stand tall, the side boys, and the retiree would request permission to go ashore. He stepped to the platform, and the side boys would lower away. As the jolly boat pulled away, the gunner would fire a salute from the ship's main battery, and the retiree sat in the stern sheets going ashore. Today, our Navy has given most of the pomp and circumstance, the honors, traditions, and ceremonies back to history. Time does not give us the freedom to do these things from the past. Nevertheless, we still have to stop all engines, lay about smartly, and drop anchor to pay homage to one of our shipmates going ashore. We honor the years served, the guidance, the leadership, and the friendship, the experience this shipmate freely gave for the years. BM2 Barrett will now read The Watch.
For 22 years, this sailor has stood the watch. While some of us were in our bunks at night, this sailor stood the watch. While some of us were in school learning our trade, this sailor stood the watch. Yes, even before some of us were born into this world, this shipmate stood the watch. In those years when the storm clouds of war were seen brewing on the horizon of history, the shipmate stood the watch. Many times she would cast an eye ashore and see her family standing there, needing her guidance and help, needing that hand to hold during the hard times, but she still stood the watch. She stood the watch for 22 years. She stood the watch so that we, our families, and our fellow countrymen could sleep soundly in safety, each and every night, knowing that a sailor stood the watch. Today, we are here to say, shipmate, the watch stands relieved by those you have trained and guided and led. Warrant Rambo, you stand relieved. We have the watch. Boatswain, stand to pipe the side, shipmate going ashore.
Chief Warrant Officer Rambo will now report to Commander Bay and request permission to go ashore for the last time.
Sir, request permission to go ashore.
Permission granted. Go ashore.
Aye, aye, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand. Chief Warrant Officer 3, Misty Rambo, United States Navy, retired, departing. This concludes today's ceremony. Please come congratulate retired Warrant Rambo. Don't forget to pick up your gift box in lieu of cake on your way out. Thank you kindly for your time and have a great Navy Day.